Oh, you ready? Okay, I'm going live on Facebook right now. Okay, so hello everybody. Hello everybody. So I'm Emma Sydney and we are live on Facebook and also recording on Zoom because we wanted to talk to you about our next topic, which is elevated vision. So elevated vision is going to be a really powerful thing to start to review now so that you jump into 2024 with some absolute amazing accelerated intentions and therefore results. So I'm Emma Sydney, I'm for More Clients Now, and this is Fur Whale.
Hi everyone, I'm Fur Whale from She Talks, empowering you to be the best kind of speaker that you can be, which is the unleashed and impressive one. Look, I'm here today also with Emma to really elevate your vision for 2024. And of course, we're in halfway through November. And I understand we're all a little bit busy. However, this is absolutely the time to get clarity around your vision. And I want to talk about how to create it. Yes. And how to elevate it. And I've got Instagram over here as a live, so I will look to the side every now and again. I've got as the first one, Emma, program your mind and body. And this is something that I'm so big about, because when you program your mind and your nervous system, your physiology, to accept and expect your vision for the future, then you're not going to reject it. Then you are able to shift those blocks that come up rather than them just taking over and stopping you from stepping into that new identity, that new vision. And three things happen when we start visualizing, and there is a way to visualize, and I'm going to absolutely tell you how to do that. It might be a little different than what you've been doing or you've heard. You signal your mental pathways, so you're creating new pathways, which absolutely allow you to shift those blocks. The other one is you're signaling your nervous system, which means that physically you're not in an anxious state, or an uncomfortable state, which gets us to kind of second guess ourselves and not step in, not lean in. And then as a consequence, we're signaling our genes, which means it's a permanent habit. And we love that. After 63 days of this habit that I'm about to teach you, you are going to have new genes, a new habit. So for me, I'm absolutely big on creating a truer truth first, because what happens when we visualize, and why it hasn't worked before about visualizing our future, is that we have our bullshit radar come in and say, yeah, no, that's not possible. That's not who I am. I'm not capable of that. I'm not that confident. I'm not that courageous. I'm not that intelligent. I've never been in those rooms before with those people. Who am I to act like the expert, etc. So we must find a truer truth. So you have your vision about what you want for your future. We know that entails leveling up, becoming an elevated version of ourselves and of our life. And that's going to take you finding what's truer than what you currently believe, than you currently believe is possible for yourself. So finding that truer truth can literally just be the next place that you can 100% step into, which is, let me see if this is possible. I'm going to put every single bit of my being into this and make it possible. That might be the next truer truth for you, rather than I'm going to be this unleashed and impressive speaker. So we want to incrementally move ourselves along the scale of the truer truth, allowing us to step into those spaces. The next one is to actually calm our nervous system. We don't know, but we have all these thoughts running in the background around what we can and can't do, what's possible, what's not possible. And we're literally triggering our nervous system. And we're running on this subtle stress that we don't realize. And in order to really anchor in a new vision for our future and to believe our truer truth, we need to calm our nervous system. So we do breathing, we calm our nervous system, and we sit and visualize. And now I'm going to tell you you start by visualizing your big vision for 2024, all of it, your big, scary, hairy, audacious, almost seemingly unrealistic vision for 2024, all of it. Just look at it. And then come back to what is the first step? What would be the first step that I would need to do to get myself on this journey? The first actionable, physical, real life step. And then the next part that you visualize is actually the sequence. How does that whole vision of yours, you don't have to know all the answers, you don't have to know how to do everything. You just want to unpack it like it's frame by frame by frame and unpack it. And then go back. What is my next first step? What would be my next step? And then unpack the sequence again, frame by frame by frame. If any doubt or second guessing comes up, keep up this process of visualizing first step, second step, frame by frame, until you can start to see that it's possible for you. So you're entertaining your truer truth. Yeah, I could do this. This is possible for me. I do have what it takes. And then you get to the last part of the visualization. This is all in one sitting, and you go back to the big picture. And you see your big picture this time, because I guarantee the first time you were looking at yourself, this time, I want you to see it through your eyes as though, now for me, it would be standing on the TEDx stage, looking out at the audience, doing my talk, and allowing the nervousness to be there, the discomfort to be there, but trusting in my truer truth that I truly have the capacity to be unleashed and impressive on this stage. And then we keep doing that as a daily practice. So the neurochemistry of your mind and body will start to wire day by day through this practice. It starts wiring so that you're prepared, so that you don't block yourself, so that you start to truly believe in your vision, but you're literally aligning with this new future. My second step in this would be to develop a vision statement. So you write it down. You write the whole visual down, from the whole sequence from A to Z, and your big vision, how it feels, what it looks like. And then I want you to condense that whole vision into a statement. So 2 sentences, a paragraph. And so, for instance, I am statements work the best in this situation, but whatever statement it is, it has to be a now statement, as if it's happening statement, a present statement. So mine is, I am, as it says in my backdrop, unleashed and impressive. I am the unleashed and impressive speaker. And I know that that means that one sentence means everything that I've just written down in my vision statement, everything that I've written down as my future vision, and everything that I'm envisioning. I know it means all of that. And when I can keep stating that, it's not a positive mantra. It's not something that I'm supposed to believe. It's literally triggers the doorway to this practice. It triggers reminding me of my truer truth. It triggers my practice of visualizing. That's what this is all about. My third one is, we absolutely have to remind ourselves that our vision will grow and develop, and it may change how it looks. It might not look how you've written it or how you've visualized it. However, I want you to notice, if it's giving you everything that you desired to achieve, the feelings, the results, then it is your vision. Step into that. It will grow and develop, and it might not always look the way that you had visualized it. And then finally, Emma, my last one, my fourth one is, and I absolutely live by this, everything in your personal space, hi Shavita, everything in your personal space must represent your future vision. It must be in alignment with it. So we look around our space and we either take things away or we add elements into our space that absolutely feed in to our future vision. So for me, it's images. I put images on the wall that absolutely inspire me to step into that new identity and that new vision. I also have statements that I've written. So the I am statements or the present time statements. the vision statements for your future, quotes from other people. I've got one in my bathroom. Today is wild, and it's yours. And I love that statement because it used to scare me. Some of the places I wanted to step into felt a little wild for me. I didn't feel ready for them. And that statement has absolutely gotten me to the place of I am absolutely wild enough to step into the fast stream of what's possible for me. Vibrant colors, whatever colors that you feel in alignment with that allow you to feel uplifted and like just as a source of a reminder. So for instance, pink reminds me of my femininity. It reminds me of the women that I'm empowering. Blue reminds me of a solid foundation of my intellect and of the wisdom that I'm sharing. So these are colors I have in my space. They're literally symbols that trigger new pathways, calm the nervous system down because the belief is there, and creates the new gene after 63 days of practice. Smells, have a little ritual. I'm just going to finish off now. One of my daily rituals is to have gratitude for where I am, to all that is, and to all that will be, which means I am absolutely creating that new vision for myself, and that I'm open to it, however it comes to me, to all that is and to all that will be. So I light an incense, and that's either a Nag Champa, and that smell reminds me of ritual and what's possible because of the Tao Center that I used to burn those in. The other one I burn is frankincense resin because that's a really sacred spiritual smell. And that allows me to trust in higher source, in source and my higher intelligence. And then a vanilla essence, which reminds me of that young child who had all of these dreams and could achieve anything. So I want you to use everything that you have to trigger and remind you that you definitely have the capacity to step into this new possibility, this new identity. And I love working in this level with every person that I work with as a public speaker, and especially in my Speakers Lab, Emma, this is one of the things that we have as a foundation in Speakers Lab, the 3-month program, because if you don't start here, everything else can fall away because your critical mind will come in and go, bullshit, that's not possible for you. So I wanted to share this with your group today. And I know that as salespeople and marketing people, or people who aren't familiar with these sorts of practices, this might seem a little woo, or maybe it doesn't. So either way, I ask that you take this practice on as a practice and absolutely journal the results that you're getting so that you are aware of how powerful this is for you, and that you can literally keep moving yourself incrementally and open up that vision for 2024. Absolutely. And that's all I wish to say on the topic right now. So I'm going to hand you over to Emma Sidney, over to you.
Great, thank you so much. So what Fer has been talking about is essentially what she's talking about is the practice of manifestation. And there's lots of ways in which people see this practice. And sometimes they see it as a practice that is, as she mentioned, woo-woo. But I want to talk to you about the science behind the woo-woo and also give you a few resources.
Oh, that's what I wanted to do. I forgot to do. I had a quick list. Can I do that now? Just a quick list, just examples, really quick.
Okay, go for it. We're doing a quick list from Fer, and then I'll come back to you with some more information.
There's a whole ton of scientific studies, and like I geek out on this stuff. There's 2 groups who practice piano. One group physically practiced the piano, and the other group mentally visualized it. There's so many other studies, but they've literally proven that the same neural pathways get built. And then when those people who've not even touched a piano, never played a piano before, don't even believe they can play a piano, sit down and they know where to put their fingers and they play. Flexing biceps, another one. And admittedly in this study, the ones who visualize flexing their biceps in as much as both groups, the one who physically did it and the ones who visualized it, both increased strength. It was 50% in the people who literally lifted the weights and 30% in the others. And of course, there can be some leeway in that. Look, we know of Jim Carrey, who wrote himself a check for $10,000 and it came in on the date that he said he would get paid for that. He also wrote down his vision statement for who he would meet, what movies he'd be in, and who he'd serve. And every single one of those things came true. Look, it's not woo, it's what happens is, and this is what I really wanted to anchor this in, is that there's people like Aaron Rodgers, who's a quarterback, I'm just reading my notes, quarterback from Packers, who visualized execution of plays and wins beyond his actual skill level, beyond his physical capacity, and actually achieved them. Nathan Sharansky was falsely imprisoned as a spy. He liked the idea of chess. He played as a kid, but was by no means a chess player. But he knew the rules, and he literally played chess in his mind to keep his sanity. When he came out, he decided he'd put it to the test, and he played the chess champion. Of course, he had to play everyone leading up to that, and he beat the chess champion, which is insane. There's so many more stories. However, what it is that when we visualize it and we believe that we have this capacity, so we're building the new neural pathways for that understanding, and our nervous system isn't resisting, we then behave in ways that are congruent with that belief. What that means is we're taking the action rather than sitting behind procrastination, imposter syndrome, self-doubt, being risk adverse or success averse. We're literally in the game of our life, on the field, making those plays. So we're literally taking the action because now we have created the new behavior towards that. So thank you for reminding me that I had this to read.
Oh, good. Oh, good. So I wanted to talk to you about vision from a few angles. So one of the things that's really important is that when you think about manifesting, you think about creating neural pathways, you think about creating a vision. There is another term that's really powerful in this, which actually does work to your advantage, and it explains the science behind all of those results that Fir's just been talking about. Now, the science is this: you have in your eyes, in your retina, a thing called a reticular activating system. It's a neural system that is how your eyes interpret information and which pieces of information you actually pay attention to. And we know there's, I think it's something ridiculous, like a few billion pieces of information going through all the time, like colors. Just in my environment, there would be few hundred objects. There's also there's temperature, there's what I'm doing, there's light, there's all sorts of things going through your eyes all the time. And you can only pay attention to a few pieces of information at a time. So when you create a vision and you've decided that's what's going to happen, your reticular activating system actually backs that up by seeing those things that actually address your vision coming true. So once you decide that's what you're going to do, your reticular activating system will actually show you how to create that by becoming really aware of things that are in alignment with what you said. And here's an example. If you decided that you wanted a pink car, right? Let's just say you wanted a pink car. You'll start seeing pink cars. Now, why do you see pink cars? Not because there's any more pink cars on the road than there were before you thought about a pink car being your car, but because now you're looking and seeing pink cars because that's what you're interested in. And that happens with everything. That happens with sales, it happens with money, it happens with clients, it happens with opportunities. Once you start to think, okay, this is the one I want, then your reticular activating system is consistently seeking those opportunities that align with that vision that you've created. So I'm actually going to share something with you as well. If you are a visual person, I'm going to do a share screen on this. And I'm going to share, can you enable share screen for me, Fer? Because I'm going to show you a couple of things in the vision that I've created. But before I do that, I want to show you something in the background. So you can just see on Facebook Live, you can see a little spiral model, and there's a spiral up and there's a spiral down. So these sorts of ideas can actually help you to embed your vision and increase your ability to achieve your vision moment by moment, and they're tuning your emotions in this particular case. So I'm going to switch over to here So I'm going to be turning, but you won't see me at all. But I'll be talking through just what the top of the model is and the bottom of the model is, so you can get an idea. And if you want something like this, then we can develop a set of tools. In fact, I already have them. We've already run vision workshops, so we could potentially run a vision workshop for you where you have all these tools as well as having the concept in your mind. So over here, I have a thing called the emotional guidance scale. Now, the emotional guidance scale has an upward spiral and a downward spiral. If you're thinking about what is going to put you into the next best place, and one of my coaches, Tanya, suggested that this was like being in an elevator and what level of elevation you actually want to be on, which is funny because we're elevating vision, right? So if you put yourself in the elevator and you sit at one of the bottom levels, so for one of the bottom levels of the downward spiral might be jealousy. So if you sit in jealousy, then jealousy is what you're going to experience. Jealousy is what's going to happen to you. Jealousy is where you're going to be, right? If you go, I don't want to be jealous, I want to be something slightly better than jealous, and you say, okay, I'm going to move from jealousy up a couple of notches and I'm going to move into anger. Now, anger is actually better than jealousy because in anger, you're acting. In anger, you've got some kind of intention. Now, is it a great intention? Is it going to make you a beautiful, happy person? No. But having anger is better than having jealousy because at least now you're in action. You have some potency when you're angry, right? But then let's just say I'm sick of being angry and I don't want to be jealous. I want to be thinking in a way that's going to elevate my intention, that's going to elevate my vision. So what's that going to look like? You go a couple up the scale and you might end up going towards something like hopefulness. So let's say you swap over from the negative downward spiral into the upward spiral and you start thinking, I want to be hopeful. I want to be hopeful about what's going to happen. I want to be thinking about it being possible for me. And so when you start thinking along the upward spiral, then you can start to actually create a genuine, massive, concerted forward step. And so the next emotion you might look at is enthusiasm. And from enthusiasm, you could get passion. So one of the ways in which you can create your vision, and what I suggest to you to do, is to either write words like a mind map, and you can say vision in the middle, and then you can say, okay, what do I want it to feel like? What do I want it to look like? And you can put some things around the outside, and then you can start to group them. That's one way to do a vision. And if you think about it from the intention of passion, then you're going to have the energy to deliver on your vision, because that's really important. You've just tuned your emotions into what it is that's going to make me excited and happy about my next year. And so that's really important. So you've got your reticular activating system where you've decided what you want, and then you start seeing it. And then you've also got your emotional guidance where you've decided how you want to feel, and then you start to achieve it because you can see that that's going to give you the passion that you need to create the next thing. There's a few other tools on my wall over here. One of them is the 8 levels of human potential, which is that one over there. Now, the 8 levels of human potential is something that I teach in my More Clients Now program. And the reason why I teach it is because if you understand what level you're playing at, and you understand where your clients are playing and what kind of language they have, what they need to motivate themselves, how they're going to create a world where they're going to be able to achieve what they want, then you're going to be able to empower them as a coach or a consultant or a business leader to work with you to play at that next level for them. And so it's really important to understand human potential. The highest level of human potential is kind of like your Buddha. It's enlightenment. No one needs to actually be there, but vision is not about being enlightened. When I say no one needs to be there, what I mean is enlightened people don't need anything. Like, there is no cup. They don't have anything else to achieve. They're perfectly content where they are. And so you won't even see those people in the society striving for anything because they're already done. So the people that you probably will want to play with are people who are, let's have a look, somewhere between dependents and tribal people. Those tribal people will be people who potentially have some excuses and they need to be empowered with a bigger vision in order to start changing and moving up. You might be playing with warriors who are really ready to go. These are the angry people, right? And so when I said angry is not always bad, because angry is also, I'm frustrated. I've had enough. I want to do something different. I'm going to not stop until I achieve it. And then the next level up from that are people who are building teams, becoming independently wealthy, having control over their life and over the next phase that they have. So these are the sorts of things you want to put into your world so that you can remind yourself, okay, this is who I want to be, this is how I want to play, this is how my life is going to be. Now I'm going to share with you something that I created a couple of years ago, and I can share screen now. I'm going to start with something really beautiful that really inspired me. And so you can see here this beautiful image, and obviously you can't see it on live, but you'll see it on the recording, so do watch out for the recording. This is Jagadamba, and she's a primal goddess, and you can see Jagadamba as someone who is just completely full of light and energy, and she's got flow, and she just inspires me. She's so pretty. She's just such a beautiful adorable kind of an image. So she created something for me in the way of passion. And then what I did with her was I then decided to create a vision board which includes her, and you'll see her in the background. There's a number of other things on my vision board, and this is from 2021, this one. So I'm just going to share with you some of the elements of my vision board. So this is something that other people might like to do depending on who they are, right? So you can see in the middle there, you can see Jagadamba. She's actually part of my vision. So she creates flow. In that flow, you have an amazing spiral effect. So her energy goes out and comes back in. So it's really important when you have a vision to not exhaust yourself in the process. Make sure that you're energized by your vision. Now, you may or may not be able to see, but off to the right of this image, there's some splashes of color coming out, and those splashes of color are actually music, because part of my passion, my world, is to be able to create music into the future. So I've got that going on. You can also see love in the sky, and me symbolized as a blonde with a man who's got dark hair and a beard, and they're in wedding attire, because one of the things I would love to do one day is to have a partner that would consider getting married. Then you can also see over on the left myself and my boys, and I want us to be happy and lovely, and so that's part of my vision. Down the bottom, you'll see on the left, I have a house that I can see myself living in by the beach. Water is so important to me. It takes up a lot of the imagery, and the sunset, the sunrise, those particular things, that color palette, these all inspire me. And down the bottom on the right, you can see I have a team. I have clients who are happy, and you may or may not be able to see this, is kind of subtle, but over on the left in the middle, you'll see little blue imagery over there. And those blue images are actually signifying technology blocks. So I recognize that for myself, there's so many elements that are going to make my life happy. I need technology. I need a team. I want my boys to be happy. I want a partner. I need love. I need music and creativity and a primal kind of energy. I need the sunset and the colors. A beautiful house by the sea is where I'm actually by the sea now, but not quite as close as I would like to be. And I created this board. And even though this is a vision that is 2 years old, it is still inspiring to me today. So it is something that you don't have to create every year, but it is important to have something that really inspires you. Now, the other thing I'm going to talk about now is, well, what does that look like, right? And so first said, all right, you meditate and you practice and you create an intention, and that creates neural pathways. And so we've talked about reticular activating system as well. But there's another element to this that's really going to empower you. And the other element that's really going to empower you is this. You should also have a practical blueprint for what this looks like. So there are various ways of doing this. One of the most powerful that I really like is creating like a pyramid. So a pyramid, and if you want to do a vision workshop with us, we can show you the pyramid and we can create it together. So the pyramid looks like this. Up the top is your goal. And this could actually be like a pyramid, and then another pyramid, and another pyramid, another. You might have a health goal, you might have a lifestyle goal, you might have a business goal, you might have a financial goal, and they might all be, you know, things that you really want to put into your vision. So when you create those, you've then got the top of the pyramid. This is my goal. So if your goal is to achieve 20K per month, then your goal is going to be sitting here. What does that look like? Well, from a practical standpoint, you then need to find a way of generating that financially, right? So generate that by having the next level down. If I had 20 clients and they're all paying me $1,000 per month, that would be 20K per month. Is that going to be the best possible scenario for me? Yes or no? So if you want to work with less clients, or if you want to work with more clients, then you'd adjust what that looks like. Then the next level down is, okay, well, what are they buying, right? What are they buying? What's going to be worth $1,000 per client per month? And then you create those products to see what that's going to be. And then the next level down is, what is the work that's required to create those products? And so you figure out, okay, so if I have, for example, what I used to have in my digital marketing agency was a package where you do, for example, you do SEO and you do social media and social posting. And because those packages were highly attentive and quite large packages, that'd be like $2,000 a month. So I only need 10 clients who are doing social media and SEO in order to create that 20K revenue per month. And because these are ongoing packages, then they're perfectly doable. And then the second thing you need is to say, okay, well, what resources do I need to create that? Now, for me, that's an SEO team, and it's also a social media team. And so there's about 20 or 30 people involved in those teams, but my leverage on the pricing is reasonable. So I can make a margin, and then I won't make 20K in hand, but I probably make, you know, maybe around half that or a bit less, depending on the business costs that you have that you need to deal with, not just your cost of providing the service, but also your cost of living, your cost of, you know, space, office, everything like that. So it's really important that you actually have a handle on what are the practical elements required to create the business vision that I have, or the lifestyle vision that I have. So, for example, one of my visions has been, since 2015, it's been to heal my back. What did I do? Well, I went to Kiza. Kiza was an expensive exercise. It was probably, it was about $100 to $200 a week for quite a long time, like over a year. But what happened in that year was I did heal my back, and I don't have pain in my back every day. And what I need to do now is just maintain it by going to the gym once or twice a week, doing some body balance and doing some walking. So there's an incredible power in saying, okay, I'm going to do that. What does that take? So healing my back took chiro, osteo, physio, Kiza, massage, better shoes, orthotics. And over the process of a period of time, I achieved that healing. And that wasn't just because I decided to have the healing happen. It was because I did the practical things to create that. But it was also really important, and I think this is something that often blocks people. It was also really important to realize that you have to believe it. You have to believe that you can heal. So I had, and here's another example. So I had this little bone in here, which is called a scaphoid. I had this broken in a roller skating accident. I was teaching someone how to roller skate, and they fell on me, and I broke my hand. I had a couple of mishaps with the cast, and when the cast was taken off for the last time, and I saw the doctor, they said to me, this is going to become arthritic in here, and you're actually going to have that bone completely removed, because it's going to be so painful, you won't be able to do anything. And I was devastated. I mean, I cried in the surgery. I cried out of the surgery. I cried for a few days. And then I just thought about it, and I went, you know what? I'm going to heal this. I do not accept that I have to lose any functionality in my hand. I do not accept it. And it took me 10 months before I saw the review at the surgery with the doctors to see whether I had to have some kind of removal or whether I had pain medication or what it was. And when I went back, this is the result. I'm going to show you over here. So I have better flexibility than most people on both hands. And I have better strength than a lot of people with my hands or my size, whatever. So I had to do nothing else, right? And so what I'm teaching you today is that there is not just a visual that you can have. There are also models that you can follow to help you to create things. And you can have blocks, building blocks that show you how to go from the big, hairy, audacious goal or the vision for 2024 down to practical steps that you will create and take, not just through meditation, but through practice, decision, action, and intention. So I think we've had a great session today, Fer. What do you think?
Yeah, I love it, Emma, because we said exactly the same things in totally different language. So
I know, right?
The reticular activating system, which is creating a singular focus, embodying the emotions, knowing the absolute sequence of steps, your first step, your second, and so on and so forth. A symbolic representation, which you talked about as a vision board. I just literally used my whole office.
Yeah.
Which you
and
do.
I did too, but
and the practical blueprint, which is that sequence of steps, but which it then creates the behavior, the belief, the trust in the whole thing. These are all absolutely vital ingredients in how to do it. But, you will find your own way. It's not the one way for everyone, but often there are elements missing in our practice. I certainly know that when I started out with visualization and positive mantras, I couldn't work out why they weren't working. They just, like, my brain just kept calling bullshit on it,
Yeah. Well, you don't believe it at first, right? I think that's really important for people to acknowledge that you might have a vision, but initially when you start that practice, you're not going to believe in yourself enough to have it happen immediately.
Well, actually, and that's why you've got to find a place that you can believe in that will move you incrementally. So if you can believe in the possibility, it may be possible for me. If that's the place you start, you've got to start with belief, though. You can't start from, I'm doing this mantra and this visualization, but I don't believe it. It doesn't work that way. Jim Carrey talks about it. All of these people, they've uncovered what really happens underneath. And they started from a place where they went, you know what? Why not me? Of course it's possible. So they actually were in the space of possibility. And you just cannot get to your visualization, your vision for 2024, unless you step into the place where you go, you know what? I believe that if I take the steps and if I do these practical things that Emma's talked about, I do these practical things that First talked about, and we do all of it consistently on a daily basis, that it is possible.
It's definitely possible. So for
anybody, no matter where you're at. Yeah, absolutely.
Just quickly,
I have to go.
just quickly, one thing before you go. So I think it's really important to acknowledge anyone who's listened to this. If you have any questions about how to create a vision for yourself and you'd like to reach out to Fer or myself, then certainly do that. If you have a vision for yourself as an unleashed and impressive speaker for 2024, you should be looking at Speakers Fast Track. If you have a vision for yourself as an accomplished business leader who is considered an authority and has more clients more often and a faster sales process, then you should speak to me about the More Clients Now program. Yeah. So that is enough from us today about elevating your vision. I hope it's been helpful. And if you'd like a vision workshop, then #vision under the comments. And you never know, we might create one for you.
Yeah, and please do get in touch in the respective chats, and we love to answer your questions anytime. All right.
And don't forget about our coffee catch up on the 2nd of December.
Oh, yeah, we've got bookings coming in. I am so excited to meet you all. I can't wait. Thanks, Emma. Great to spend time with you again and have your expertise in the room. It's bloody brilliant. All right.
That's awesome. Everyone. All right. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.